Let's move on to question 4. What ing phrases are most common in the discussion? Okay, well, I like these kind of questions because ing is pretty specific. Let's go to AntConc for that. And here I have another AntConc window open, which is the discussion corpus, just like I showed you before. This just has the last section of the articles. Well, okay, easy enough, right? We can just do an asterisk and ing. As long as there's no space, it's going to give me the ing words. And yeah, let's have a cluster size of 3 to 5 and see what we get. Suggesting that the, understanding of the, depending on the, according to the. Okay, so I've got words like suggesting, understanding, depending, suggesting that, the, of the, on the. Not so interesting. Maybe interesting to note. I like that. I like that. Owing to the. I kind of like that one. Owing to the. Let's see how people use that one. Now I need to re-sort my data here. Let's put it on 3 and 4. Okay. Right. I don't see anything. I don't see any trends of left sorted, so I'm just going to get rid of that one, and let's look at it this way. So it's pretty common to start a sentence with owing. That's about half of them. Owing to the fact that, okay, owing to the many variables, owing to the damage. That's kind of not the most common word, but it's kind of a cool phrase. How many? Looks like a lot of native speakers. Let's count the non-natives. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, 4 out of 14. That's about what you would expect. So nothing so special there. I just kind of liked it, and I wanted to see how people were using it. That's sort of how I use this. I look always for phrases that might be interesting. However, still, okay, now I like this. Oh, tempting to speculate that. I like that kind of longer phrase. So what I'm going to do is I feel like my 3-word clusters are not as interesting. I'm going to get rid of those because we have enough range. Oops, I made that mistake again right here. So let's just put in ing again. Okay, this is more interesting now. All right. Interesting to note that. Making it difficult to. Finding of this. Yes. Highlighting the importance of. I like these phrases. I can use these in my discussion. Yes, and you see, as long as the range is fairly high. In fact, to be a bit more honest, we should probably increase the range to 3, just to make sure that they are covered among at least 3 authors. However, this is just all of ing on the left. I wonder if we could find more interesting phrases if we also included a term before the ing. So to do that, let's just put in another asterisk. And now we can get 2 words this way. Or rather, 1 word before the ing. Okay. Is interesting to note, is tempting to speculate. Our understanding of the, better understanding. Making it difficult to, I like that. Be interesting to determine. Raising the possibility that, that's cool. I recommended searching these INGs because they are such an interesting way to make a little bit of a change in your paper, or they're such a good way to combine some complicated information. So please try to get to know these ING phrases more. Similar question for LY, most common LY phrases in the discussion. So can we just do the same thing that we did before? Let's try it. Okay, previously been shown to, likely due to the, likely to be, previously. So previously and likely are pretty common. Previously, likely, all right. Only in the presence of. Yeah, not so surprising here. I wonder if we get anything interesting if we do this one. is likely to be, or likely really comes up. Oh my goodness. Have previously shown. More likely to be. This is, wow. The top 5 are all likely phrases. Whew. Previously are likely to have. Wow. If you're not using likely in your discussion, maybe you want to start. And then, of course, we can look at more detail. So is likely to be is used in 31 different authors, each used only a single time. And so you may find some more interesting patterns if you sort of just browse through here. Now, there is another way to do it. What ly phrases are most common in the discussion? Well, that's one way, and I think that's a good way. But perhaps you're more interested in what you can do here. Oh, I forgot to reset this. I always follow the advice of myself. Clear the filters before you leave. Clear the filters before you leave. You've got to remember that. All right. There is a way to search on all of these words by the ending of the word. So rather than do a sort A to Z or Z to A, let's actually do a text filter with ends with. And we'll just do ends with ly. Look at that. It's just so easy. So now we've got 28 words ending with ly, and they're actually already sorted by frequency. So if we want to be a little bit more specific, let's sort by frequency to the discussion. And not surprising, we get only and likely. Early is a bit surprising because we didn't see that much in the other one. Clinically, directly, interestingly. Okay, so you may be able to look here first and find a phrase here under likely. So immune response is more likely to be, oh, we saw that, didn't we? Is more likely to be, or was most likely due to the way that this data works is, if it's not in the parentheses, it's a phrase that's used by at least 2 authors. Or in some cases, it's 2 phrases that have been mixed together that are very, very representative of what multiple authors are writing. So you should feel pretty free to use these phrases that are not in the parentheses. Everything that's in the parentheses after, like this decreasing the use of, is just for extra context. So you can't consider that an actual n-gram. But the power of the Excel file is you might be able to do this a lot faster than going into the AntConc. And that's the idea. So you might use the Excel file as a first screen to try to find what you're looking for. And if you need more detail, then you go into the AntConc. That's sort of my goal for how you do this. You'll also notice that words that have lots of data, like likely, they tend to have more examples in here. As you go down to the bottom, you can see that, well, reliably still has a fair amount, but you'll get less and less examples the less frequent that you go. Clear the filter before you leave. Clear the filter before you leave. It makes trouble if you don't clear the filter. Let's move on to question 6. Okay, what are the most common modal verb phrases in the discussion? All right, well, a modal verb. There is no easy way to know what's the most common modal verb with AntConc, but we can do it on the KOBS. If you'll remember from the introduction, we saw that can was in there. You may remember that that was under category 2. Now, I know that these categories are a little hard to use, but I actually believe that they have some of the most power of the entire program. Here's one way to do it. So I'm in the discussion tab, and since I know it's in category 2, I can check in category 2. It's possible that you don't know that it's there, but you might think, well, I'm looking for a grammar word. So you might just search for the grammar words first, and then you'll get kind of a list like that. But yes, indeed, this is a modal. So I am looking for the most common modal verbs. And let's see here with our frequency. We have may, could, would, and might. All 4 of those are used at least once per discussion article. And may is used 3.5 times per discussion section. Wow, cool. So this probably has some good data for us. Now that I know my 4 words, it's easy enough to search the AntConc now. So let's go back to that discussion. Let's go to the clusters in grams. Let's paste our 3 words. Now, actually, copying and pasting from the Excel sometimes does some strange things. You can see how it's not really working here. So don't really expect to copy and paste multiple things like that. However, so let's just type may, could, would, might. May, or, could, or, would, or, might. And let's lower the cluster size just for now to 3, but we might as well keep the maximum up at 5. Let's see what we get. May not be, could not be, may have been, may be may be due to, may contribute to. Yeah, okay. I get some of this, but it's not so surprising. May not be, may be may have been, may lead to. That I like that one. Okay. So I could go through here and try to find some more interesting ones. I think it might be easier just to raise the minimum because we have enough range. There's enough data to increase that cluster size and look for something interesting. Maybe due to, could be due to. What's the difference? Which one's stronger? Are they the same? If you really wanted to know, why don't you click on those and read through them? May be involved in, I like that one. May contribute to, may play a role in. Okay, now we're getting some interesting verbs to go along with it. Would be expected to, would be interesting to. I like that. I like that. Now, of course, we can do the same thing we did earlier, and we can put an asterisk before each of these to find out what words occur before our most common modals. And do we get anything else that's interesting? It would be interesting to. This may be due to. This may explain. There may be a this. I like some of these phrases. This could be explained by. This might be explained by. Interesting. It would be interesting. Let's just take a quick look here. Moreover, it would be interesting. Okay. I'm more interested in what comes after these. Let's resort that. It would be interesting to determine whether. What a nice phrase. Used by 2 different people, one from Austria, one from France. But this weather is very common. Explore weather, see weather, test weather. This is a winning phrase. This is a winning phrase. I like finding phrases like this. Yeah. Pretty good range too. It's used by 9 different authors. Okay, let's move on to number 7. Let's find adverbs that make their modified word much stronger. So for example, highly is an adverb that makes expressed much stronger. So highly expressed. And in which article section do they tend to occur? Okay, there's, again, multiple ways to do this. Adverbs often end in ly, so I could do my ly search again on AntConc. But they don't always end in ly. And on the KOBS, we have a... I didn't clear my filter, did I? Always clear your filter before you leave. Clear your filter before you leave. That's my mantra. Simple Master. Let's go to POS and let's just search the adverbs from there. So the adverb is are. So JR, it's an adjective or an adverb. Noun or adverb. are is adverb, are. All right, that's our adverbs, okay? How many do we have? We've got 122 adverbs, all right? And they're already sorted by frequency. What am I interested in? Also, okay, what's the question? I want the adverbs that make their words stronger, so I'm going to kind of look for category along with. So what makes it stronger? Also, no, only, well, significantly, I think that one maybe makes it stronger. Previously, respectively, vivo. Likely, that's one that we've talked about before. Highly. Even, kind of, it has an emphasis, maybe. Together, according, here, overall. Directly. Very, of course. Okay. Here's what I am thinking. Oh, strongly. I'm going to look at the category that these occur in. So we've got calculation, possibility, degree, transition. But I think this transition one is a little bit different. So I'm not really interested in the transition. Degree, suggestion. So let's just search with these ones here. Let's research our category. Let's search our category for just calculation, possibility, degree, and suggestion. Okay. So let's clear all the keys. Let's use calculation, degree, possibility, and suggestion. All right. Now I have 38 verbs, 38 adverbs, and this is a bit more interesting. Okay, significantly. I like that one. Likely, highly. Overall is a little bit different. A little maybe. Very. Approximately not so much. Strongly. Potentially. Clearly. Statistically. Completely. Fully. Probably. Largely. Slightly no. Partially. Almost. Okay. Substantially. Interesting one. Predominantly. I like that one. Nearly. Nearly. Yes. So you see this degree of plenty. Mostly. Readily. Dramatically. Remarkably. I like these words. Extensively. Strikingly. Yes. I'm enriching my vocabulary as I look through these. I like all of these words. Which section are they in? Result, intro, none, result, none, result, none, result, intro, discuss, none, discussion, result, discussion, intro, discussion, result. Okay, well, there's no methods. We know that. There's a lot of results. The results, that kind of tells me, maybe I should resort this by result. Let's resort this. And these results ones are kind of interesting to me. Significantly, strongly, slightly, almost, substantially. And now I might start to look through these and see what strongly suggests, strongly reduced, strongly indicate, strongly associated. Cool. I like these words. Significantly is more of a calculation in a sense. It's a p-value word. It's not quite the thing I'm talking about. Almost all of the patients, almost completely blocked, almost exclusively. Substantially reduced, substantially increased. Nearly all of the change, dramatically reduced. Okay. Surprisingly, not surprisingly. Strikingly. Interesting. So, these are the kind of ways that you make your impact on that results section, because you're not supposed to really say your opinion as much in the results, but you kind of can slip your opinion in there by using these adverbs of degree and so on. Now, you'll notice that if we go to sort of the discussion and intro, they're sort of different style. So see, in the discussion now, you get likely, very, potentially, clearly. Now you get these words that are stronger in not really about your data, not so much about the change in an antibody titer, but things like this. Results are very similar to, very few cases. Could potentially be used, potentially important, potentially introduced bias. Clearly is a strong word. Clearly visible, clearly established. Okay, now this is where it also gets interesting. Fully comes with negatives. Does not fully understood, does not fully captured, has not been fully elucidated. Same with if some of these words in the introduction. If we say largely, still largely unknown, largely unexplored. Extensively, it has not been extensively investigated, has been extensively used. You start to get the idea. With the stronger words, there's more not in them, and unless it's in the results, which is talking about something that's very measurable, then you can use some stronger words. That's the kind of thing I'm interested in finding. All right, are body organs usually counted or uncounted? Question 8. Oh, before you leave, clear your filter. Clear your filter, and you can tell where the filters are by this little thing right here. Right, that symbol. Clear your filters before you leave. Clear your filters before you leave. Are body organs usually counted or uncounted? Okay, well, I'm on Simple Master. This is another place where we're going to use the category. Now, I know this is tough to find if you don't know it already. But organs are not in category 1. The category 1 for this is anatomy. In the subcategory, basically, category 2 is the organ. It takes time to learn all this, obviously. And by the way, all of the categories are done by hand, by me. So there are some incompletes and some mistakes. But it's better than nothing. So go down to organ here. Click OK. And how many do we have? Oh, we have 80. Okay. So we're looking for organs, and when I'm talking about are they counted or uncounted, I'm talking about, like, do we say lung or do we say lungs? Do we say liver or do we say livers? Bone or bones? That's kind of what I mean by counted. So this is only applicable to nouns. So let's actually exclude the adjectives and we'll just take nouns. Okay. So now we have 42 nouns. We have 42 organs represented here. And here we have percent counted. Let's sort this, just do largest to smallest because we're interested in counting. So here we see 65% of the time, I'm going to expand this so it's a little bit bigger. Uteri is usually counted, not uterus. That's interesting. Compared with sham-treated uteri. Ovaries and uteri were collected from 6 animals. So same with ovaries. And this is in basic science. So notice it's not in the medicals. If this was part of medicine, it's possible that uterus would be singular if they're talking about a single woman. But since it's in basic science, they're talking about many animals. So think about the source of where this is coming from when you interpret the data. But anyway, so we've got, generally they are countable, although, so what I've done here is if it's between 80% counted and 20% counted, I just call it countable. So let me just try to explain this one more time. So let's go to uroliths. So uroliths has a total frequency of 74, and it's counted about 2/3 of the time. So we can imply that the word urolith occurs about 30 times. In other words, the total frequency of the word uroliths and urolith would be somewhere around 105. Does that make sense? So this uroliths is, out of the total urolith and uroliths, it's counted this many times. So in the middle, artery is generally counted half of the time. So arteries would occur also about 115 times in the corpus. Okay, but we do, if we go down to the bottom, find some that are basically never counted, or at least in this data set, never counted. Skin, breast, marrow, lymph, arthritis, infarction, prostate. Well, is arthritis really an organ? Kind of. The last thing we can do finally is just check the totals. So the average is 21%. So actually, on average, in general, organs are not counted. It's, of course, fine to count organs, but in general, people in these articles are not counting organs. So if you find in your paper that you're putting S at the end of your organ a lot, that may be a mistake. And you may want to double check that, because the majority of your organ words should not be plural according to this data set. Clear your filter before you leave. Clear your filter. Oh, sorry, that's not my filter. The POS is the filter. Clear your filter before you leave. Now, this is still blue, so I still have a filter on. Where's my other filter? Clear your filter before you leave.